After we had listened to this educative story, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, African Stories by Goody. Once upon a time, there lived a couple named Okonkwo and his wife Neka. For many years, they carried the burden of childlessness, their home filled with sorrow and longing. Each planting season, they prayed to God for a child who would carry on their lineage. Their pain grew deeper as their neighbors bore children, filling the village with laughter and life. One fateful evening, after another unsuccessful trip to the shrine of Abala, the great diviner, they encountered an old seer named Mwokeke, with eyes clouded by age, yet sharp with wisdom. He beckoned them closer. "Your cries have reached the heavens," he intoned. "The gods have spoken, and their answer is clear. You shall bear a son, and not just a son, he will be a great man, a beacon of wealth, and the one to wipe away the poverty that has plagued your lineage." Tears of joy streamed down Neka's face as Okonkwo gripped her hand tightly. But the old man's face darkened. "Yet, be warned, the path of destiny is delicate. Guard his faith well. The sins of the past and the cruelty of men have long shadows. If care is not taken, joy can turn to sorrow and fortune to misfortune." Before they could ask further, Mwokeke turned and disappeared into the misty evening, leaving them in stern silence. That night, for the first time in years, Okonkwo and Nneka slept with hope in their hearts, unaware of the storm that loomed in the distant future. Months passed, and just as the seer had foretold, Nneka became pregnant. The village rejoiced at the news, for even the elders could not remember the last time such an aged couple had been blessed with a child. The women of Omago surrounded Nneka with care, ensuring she ate well and remained strong for the child growing within her. When the time came, the midwives gathered in Okonkwo's hut, their chants and prayers filling the night air. After hours of labor, Nneka's cries turned into the first wail of a newborn. The midwives cheered, and Okonkwo, waiting anxiously outside, rushed in to behold his son. The child was handsome, with eyes that sparkled like the morning sun. He was named Chigozie, meaning God bless. Drums were beaten in celebration, and the entire village feasted for days. But in the shadows of the joyous night, Mwokeke, the old seer, sat alone at the edge of the village, gazing at the stars. He sighed. The gods give, and the gods watch. May the hands that cradle him remain clean." And so, Chigozie's life began, filled with promise, yet bound by faith. As Chigozie grew, his presence brought joy to his parents and admiration from the villagers. He was strong, intelligent, and kind-hearted, but his greatest treasure was his friendship with Obinna, the son of his father's closest friend, Maduka. Obinna and Chigozie were inseparable. They climbed trees together, swam in the village river, and shared their dreams of a future filled with riches and honor. While Chigozie was destined for greatness, Obinna was equally ambitious, determined to make his own mark in life. One day, as they rested under the great Iroko tree, Obinna turned to Chigozie and said, "My friend, one day We shall both be great men. I will leave this village, work hard, and return to build a house for my father. Then we shall celebrate, and our names will be sung in the land." Chigozie laughed. "And I shall make sure you never struggle, Obinna. My destiny is tied to wealth, and I will use it to uplift those I love." The bond was pure, but unknown to them, dark clouds loomed ahead. Greed and envy, hidden in the hearts of men, would soon taste their friendship and seal their fates forever. Okonkwo, despite being a father now, remained a man of greed and envy. Though he had received a divine promise through his son, he constantly compared himself to others. When he saw Maduka, Obinna's father, thriving in his small farming business, a seed of jealousy took root in his heart. Maduka had always been his closest friend, yet Okonkwo despised the idea of seeing him experiencing even the slightest success. He convinced himself that only his family should rise above poverty, that no one else deserved fortune. One evening, Okonkwo sat with Nneka, his wife, by the fire. "Have you noticed how Maduka's son, Obinna, is growing into a strong and promising young man? He plans to return one day and build a house for his father." Nneka nodded. "It is good, isn't it? The gods bless those who work hard." But Okonkwo's face hardened. "No, woman. You don't get it. That boy must not return in glory. If he succeeds, what will that mean for our son? He alone must shine. We must ensure that Obinna never fulfills his plans." Nneka gasped. "What are you saying, Okonkwo? The gods say all. To harm the innocent is to call a curse upon ourselves." "Madam, no one is harming anyone here. We are just trying to be smart. Allow this to sink into your brain," Okonkwo muttered. And from that moment, he plotted against Obinna's future. Months later, Obinna informed his father, Maduka, that he was returning to Omuago to fulfill his promise to him. He had earned enough wealth to build a grand house for his father. His father was so happy that he told his friend Okonkwo. But Okonkwo burned with silent rage. Under the cover of night, Okonkwo visited a powerful medicine man known for his dark arts. "I need your help," he said, placing a bag of cowries before the medicine man. The medicine man studied Okonkwo. "What do you want, old man?" "Madness, wise one. I want Obinna, my friend's son, to lose his mind, so he may never enjoy his wealth." The medicine man nodded and began to perform a ritual, whispering incantations into the night. "It is done," he roared. "When he steps into his father's compound, madness shall consume him." And so the curse was set in motion. On the day Obinna returned from abroad to fulfill the promise of building a house for his father, stepping his feet into his father's compound, a chilling wind swept through the air. Suddenly, Obinna clutched his head and screamed. His eyes rolled back and he began to thrash violently. His joyous laughter turned into wails of despair. The villagers watched in horror as Obinna, the promising young man, collapsed into madness. Maduka wept profusely, holding his son. "What has happened to you, my son?" But Okonkwo only watched from the crowd, his heart filled with wicked satisfaction. Weeks later, Chigozie went to work in a construction site as a mason. While digging, he found a gleaming stone, unlike anything he had ever seen. This must be my destiny, he thought. He held it tightly, dreaming of the fortune it would bring to him. Immediately, Obinna left all he was doing and walked briskly towards the marketplace, his heart pounding with excitement. The precious stone, indeed, was radiant, smooth, and glowing brightly in the sunlight. He had hidden it in a small pouch, tied securely to his waist. As he approached the bustling market, a strange gust of wind blew past him. It was sudden and chilling, despite the scorching afternoon sun. He paused for a moment, feeling a slight dizziness, but quickly shook it off and continued his journey. Just as he reached the first trader's stall, he reached for the pouch, and his heart nearly stopped. The pouch was empty. The stone was gone. His breath quickened. He searched frantically, patting his pockets, shaking out his clothes, even dropping to his knees to check the ground. The traders and passers-by watched curiously, some laughing at his desperation. "Have you lost something, young man?" an elderly woman asked, her voice tingled with sympathy. "My stone, my precious stone. It was right here," Chigozie stammered, still searching. But it was gone, completely vanished. A deep sense of dread filled his heart. Something was terribly wrong. He could feel it in his bones. Then, as if fate had struck him down, a sudden seizure gripped his body. His arms stiffened, his legs wobbled, and before he could cry out, he collapsed into a dusty ground, shaking uncontrollably. The marketplace erupted into chorus. People backed away in fear, whispering among themselves, "The gods have cursed him. He must have angered the spirits." They took him to his parents at home. But even as the crowd gathered around him, Chigozie's mind was drifting into darkness, unaware of the cruel destiny unfolding before him. Neka wept as she realized the truth. The curse they placed on Maduka's son had returned to haunt them. And the shrine where they took Chigozie to, Neka spent days pleading with the gods. "Great spirits, punish me, not my son," she cried. But the gods remained silent. Chigozie's seizures worsened, and whispers spread. His sickness was no accident. The villagers began to fear him, and Okonkwo's once proud household was now a place of shame. The villagers distanced themselves from Okonkwo's family. "Their blood is cursed," they whispered. "The gods are angry." Chigozie, once the proud of his parents, had become their greatest shame. The old seer, who had foretold Chigozie's destiny, returned to the village. "I warned you," he told Okonkwo. "Destiny is not to be manipulated. Now your son bears the weight of your sins." Okonkwo fell to his knees. "Tell me how to fix this great war." The seer shook his head. "Only true atonement can cleanse your lineage." But are you willing to pay the price? Having no other option left, Okonkwo summoned up courage one cool evening and went to Obinna's father, Maduka. Hey, Maduka, my friend, forgive me, he begged. I have wronged your family, he continued. What do you mean, Maduka, my friend? What did you do to my family, my friend Okonkwo? I said the madness. What? Wait, which madness? Obinna, your son's madness. Please forgive me. Maduka's face was cold. So, you are the one who destroyed my son's life. Are you here asking me to forgive you, Okonkwo? Leave my house now before I do anything silly. Go and watch yours crumble. Okonkwo hurriedly left in fear and shame. That night, Nneka dreamt of a great storm destroying the village. A voice whispered, "The curse will not end with Chigozie alone. It will spread until justice is done." Terrified, she got up and urged Okonkwo, her husband, to leave the village. "We must flee before more suffering comes." But Okonkwo refused. "This is my home. I will not run," he interrupted. 2 days later, Okonkwo was found dead in his hut, his face twisted in terror. "The gods have taken him," the villagers whispered, but the curse remains. With Okonkwo gone, the elders banished Nneka and Chigozie. "The curse cannot remain in our land," they declared. Heartbroken, mother and son wandered in the unknown. After many years of wandering, Nneka found a powerful healer who promised to break the curse, but the price was great, her own life. Without hesitation, she agreed. "If my son can be free, I will give all." The ritual began, and as the healer chanted, Nneka's body weakened. But before she gave up the ghost, she muttered her final words to Chigozie. "Leave free my soul." With her sacrifice, Chigozie's seizures ceased. Now alone, Chigozie continued his wandering journey until he found a new village. He started afresh, leaving the shadows of his past behind. But he would never forget the price that was paid for his freedom. With a little difference, the sacrifice made on his health, Chigozie found and married the love of his life. They had 2 handsome boys and 3 beautiful girls. But the curse lived on. The children, both the male ones and the female ones, all had a trace of epilepsy. Even till their present generation, epilepsy dwells with them. For sure, the gods had taken their due, but the warning remains clear. No sin goes unpunished, and destiny can never be stolen. Be warned. Thank you.